guys, welcome to The Void with Christina. We're here with Jessica Pimentel of Orange is the New Black and also Alekhine's Gun. How are you today?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm really well. So it's great to have you out here on the Meshuggah tour. Has it been a transformative experience so far?
Yeah, it's been great meeting the Australian fans. I've never been here before. It's my first time out here. And we got to hit New Zealand as well. Meeting all the fans, the metalheads out here. They've been so loving, so supportive, really cool. Yeah, so far it's been amazing.
So you've got to come out here with your band next.
We absolutely would love to do that.
What is going on with your band at the moment?
Well, right now we're in the process of writing our full-length album. As you know, I'm on Orange is the New Black, so when we're shooting, it's kind of hard for us to tour. So we take advantage of the time, any free time that we have, to put together our plan for the off time. So right now it's writing, recording, and hopefully we'll have everything out before 2018.
That's so cool to have such a rich creative life though. Like, between, one of the most seismic shows I think that has been made in modern times. Like as a woman as well, like seeing these three-dimensional women and women of not the one-dimensional kind, the girlfriend or the side piece or some sort of thing. Like, It's been really cool. Like, I've never cried harder from television, from the pussy scene. Like, pussy? Pussy. Pussy.
Well, there's a lot of pussy scenes. So you have to be more specific.
Yeah, but it's like this season has just been really profound and seeing your character kind of develop. And
Genji told me from season 1, from the very beginning, that she had plans for Maria, so just wait. And or season 3, it's started getting there. Then season 4 was like a new woman emerged. And I think it was so awesome to go through that, because I'd spent the first 3 years basically crying in a corner. First it's like, oh, I'm pregnant. Oh, I'm gonna have a baby. Oh, where's my baby? Oh, there's the baby. Oh, I'm gonna lose the baby. Oh, I lost the baby. And then I was like, I don't care about the baby.
Well, I feel like the big thing that happens in the transition and stuff is hope. And one of the reasons why Pusey's death was so profound was she started to find hope again.
She finally had a reason to be happy again. And there's light at the end of the tunnel. She found some love. She found sweetness. She found joy again. And it just got snuffed.
And it's like your character dovetailed so neatly with it, because you kind of went from having this hope in this outside world to being like, nah, I am hopeless, I'm desolate, I'm just going to find power in my space between these walls sort of thing.
Maria's entire driving force was hope. The hope of seeing her child first, the hope of seeing her next visit, the hope of taking care of her when she gets out. There's a couple times where that gets threatened and you see how much it affects her. She's just not like, oh, whatever, she'll be fine. It really affects her deeply the first time she thinks she's going to be transferred to another prison. She's just defeated.
When the partner takes the baby, I just want to punch my computer really hard.
I think I broke my toe doing that scene because I kicked the wall so hard, because it was so hard to find that balance of what you could do, because you know that you're in the circumstance that you can't fight back, you can't throw a punch, you can't run, you can't do anything. So the only thing that was left for me to do was punch or kick a wall, which
happened.
Did very well.
But there's so much warfare in being a woman, especially in the modern age, on
a day-to-day basis. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many times a guy has to really consider what he wears before he goes out, because he might get too much attention.
I like walking the park near my house at 10 o'clock at night when I'm needing to get away from my editing and just want to chill. And it's you have to be like a panther. You're assessing people for danger. You're oh, is he a risk? Is he a risk? Is he a risk? And it's
Constantly.
It's messed up.
We're constantly doing that from the moment we wake up to the moment we go home. Yeah, and even when you're going home, you're making sure no one's following you home. I mean, it's really a lot.
And I think the show really addresses that in a really profound way as well, because you have lost so much liberty by being in prison and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, I'll be honest, I had a moment with the lake swimming where I was like, okay, where are we going from here? I can't actually.
Or what?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know whether I can. This has been such a strong show, and I'm like, I don't know whether I can really buy that. And then this season is go into these deep issues the militarization of the police force and Black Lives Matter and just the corporatization. What have people kind of connected with in terms of response?
All of it, because all of it is so relevant. So people are going to find things that they haven't seen before and will kind of open their eyes to something new that they're kind of hearing in the news as noise. But when they see it happening with their favorite characters in the privacy of their own home, and it's not being force fed on a teleprompter to you, then you see how it actually affects people, real or not. You see how it's could affect people. Real people makes you kind of question what is happening, which is great. And that's with every issue.
That's so true. I read this great thing that was like, I feel like gay marriage was actually helped by Modern Family. Yeah. Like people actually, it normalized gay relationships in a way, like is kind of wild. And I'm like, that's, there's a lot of power in this because people do suspend judgment in this kind of a space. And
you're home, you're safe, you're relaxed, you do it at your own leisure, there's no one watching you, you're just taking it in, and then you get kind of pulled in by these characters and the stories, and then you forget the circumstances that you're so against. All of a sudden you find yourself rooting for that gay couple, or I hope they get the baby, or whatever. And then you might find yourself, jumping back and say, did I just say that? I mean, that happened even with my mom with some issues on the show.
That's interesting.
Yeah. She would call me really upset when Alex and Piper would fight. As if I had something to do with it, number one. And then it was her first time really seeing a transgender person.
That's so profound.
Their story being told. And when she realized when transgender character's wife would come to visit, and she turned to me and said, wow, she really loves him.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the moments where, that I think totally that character, like the wife and the sorrow and the kind of real,
but still down for whatever because she loves that person so much.
What do you think were the most transformative moments for your character in this season?
In this past season, I think the moment where the first part is coming off of season 3, where she realizes that her daughter's going to be fine without her, that she just has to make the best of her time and just get through it. You also get to see her backstory finally, so you know where she comes from with this national pride thing is a really sore spot for her. So when she starts actually seeing ways that she can use that in her favor, really makes it something special. And when the one thing that keeps her going gets taken away, that she just turns straight
gangster.
Gangster with an ER, not an A.
Real shit.
Gangster that knows how to play.
Speaking of gangster, you grew up in the New York hardcore scene.
Yes, I did.
Bit of a flip there.
Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell us how that kind of informed your character as a creative person and stuff? Because I feel like that was a magic moment in music.
Yeah. Well, just the whole street urban mentality, and that's really a part of New York hardcore. If you know crews like DMS and IDS, bands like Madball, Sick of It All, Cro-Mags, Sheer Terror, all these bands that talk about urban living, urban lifestyle, urban struggles. That's something that we never had in music, especially heavy music before. It was like dragons and like witches, but this was a music that wasn't hip hop but came with that same hip hop mentality. And it was about us, and it was current, and it was relevant. It was our news. It was our bonding experience. So don't forget the struggle. Don't forget the street. Don't forget your roots.
Yeah, it's important. It's a really big deal to have something that means something, and it still means something. And kids are discovering, and it's 15-year-old kids now. And it's like, I read that you played classical violin as a child and then had a profound moment with King Diamond.
Yes.
What was the song?
It was, my friend had given it to me because Conspiracy starts off with this beautiful little kind of toy piano sound and then big strings and a swelling cello. And you're like, wow, this is really beautiful. And then you get Andy comes in. She just knocked herself out.
Let's be real, King Diamond, serious.
We're having an album actually scared me because I was about 12 years old. I was afraid of my closet for like 2 weeks because it's about the dead sister's ghost and the grandma's killing them. It was just so operatic, so dramatic, so I don't know, it was so creative, so different. But the music was it's impeccable. It was pristine. The solos were insanely technical and still singable.
King, man, whoa.
King Diamond. And Andy LaRock.
Yeah, it's magical. It's magical stuff, and it's like it's cool you do death vocals because I have this kind of theory that something like violin, which is a really emotional kind of music, and death vocals are both really profound primal responses kind of thing. And there's a song you've got called Gun Wrench, and you talk about the path and the way. Is that kind of a reference to Buddhism and your kind of attitude? Because I know that's something that you practice.
Gut Wrench was actually about getting to a point where you realize that a relationship that you have, be it romantic or friend, or is really quite toxic. Once again, you have chosen the wrong path, and once again, I choose to look the other way. It's like codependent relationships that you just keep repeating this cycle over and over and over, and it's there comes a point where you know that you have to let go. Whether if it's someone, addicted to drugs or something, you can try to help them, but it's never going to change unless they want to change or they see it. So you can give them the rope and let them hang themselves and wash your hands and walk away. And sometimes that's the hardest thing that you can do to show someone love, is to just let them go.
The push-pull thing is a big deal, and the whole concept of grasping as well, like that flow sort of thing, and like stopping the grasping starts the flow back the other way. I mean, how did you kind of get into that sort of philosophy?
Buddhism, basically, long story. I saw this tattoo here. It's an eternal knot. I saw it in a magazine, I think, when I was a little kid, and I was always so attracted to it. And I looked through, encyclopedias, said Chinese good luck Buddhist. I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Sounds good to me. And I started studying kind of Eastern religions and really into Tao Te Ching, and in school we had to read Siddhartha, and I compared the whole thing to Tao Te Ching, and my teacher said, why don't you look into Buddhism? I think you would really like it because the whole book is about Buddhism. And I was just like, no, I don't, I'm a Taoist, right? Yeah. And I opened, my mom had a book, Religions of the World, and I see just this skinny Buddha, and I'm like, oh, that's not sexy at all. I don't know about all this starvation stuff. Like, self-torture or something. And I just reading through it, I'm like, okay, this kind of makes sense. And then I read the chain of causation. It's the cycle of dependent origination, that grasping leads to self. So how and why, written out precisely why you suffer. And I just bawled and I lost it. And from that point on, I started looking for a teacher and exploring different avenues, different types of Buddhism, and I came to Tibetan Buddhism and the Gelugpa tradition, which is, to me, speaks very well.
Well, it's ego death is a pretty profound thing, especially as a creative person, actress, musician. Like, it's a big deal to kind of move to that place.
Yeah, because the ego ruins the art, for other people, because then it becomes about you. It becomes selfish,
Kanye West. It's like there's no. I'm holding this on, but I don't think there can be true art without ego, because true art is like connecting to the high spirit. And I think the standard of the acting in Orange Is the New Black, there's no ego, and
there were no divas allowed in our show. It's impossible considering the things that we have to do. It's you have to check your ego at the door, because there's so many of us. Number one, it's like you think you're gonna get your sandwich first. It comes when it comes. All right.
It's interesting as well, like that kind of attitude, because one of the things that struck me with Thomas Harker, your partner, who I've interviewed a few times, he's probably one of the most cerebral people I've ever spoken to in my life.
Yeah.
Like lyricist, drama, songwriter, all that kind of stuff. And and massively humble. And I saw an interview where you guys we're the same person. So I'm like, this Jessica person sounds interesting. Like, it's
it's almost frightening sometimes. We sometimes scare each other that we are so much alike. And I'm not saying just intelligence and all that. Yeah. Just the little quirky things that you think no one else on earth notices. Like, why does my suitcase zip this way and not that way? And we'll both have a moment where we were packing and we're like, damn it, I do it every time. I'm like, the zipper? He's like, I hate this zipper.
So what have you taught him as a fellow artist?
I have no idea. What have I taught? I don't know. You'd have to ask him that.
Do you guys write together?
No, I don't. I mean, we have our moments where we think we would like to just jam out, but maybe not metal. If we were to ever try something, it would probably not be metal. It would be something maybe more electronic.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
We both really love, electronic stuff. We have some great gear that we've been kind of fooling around with, and it's really easy to sit in the living room and just do this.
It's a lot less bullshit bullshit. Like,
it's less bullshit, and you can basically plug in any instrument of your choice into this little box. It's really amazing. So we're both kind of like thinking about that, but it's not something on our to-do list. Like, must make a nauseating couple album.
For like Kenny G and Cheeseball and like
completely take all our metal cred away.
Or you could do like a Fleetwood Mac thing. It's funny, I spoke to Danny Lilker of Nuclear Assault.
Danny.
Yeah, he's always another New Yorker, man. Straight up New York.
Love Danny.
He's built a grain synth, like this synthesizer, because he's like, sometimes I just want to like get high and hang with my cat and just make some synths.
I get lost in keyboards forever and ever. It's so much easier sometimes and also when you're in New York. You don't like trying to play guitar at night. You have upstairs neighbors, downstairs neighbors, and it's 3 a.m. You really want to jam, but it's like, then you've got to jam with headphones, and it's like, but you can still hear the strings and some banging on the door. So you get your little synthesizer out, you plug your keyboards in, and you kind of just go away. And then the amount of options that you have to do stuff is like limitless. So someone like me, ADD, I'm like, what's this? What's this do? What's this do?
There's this whole experimental electronica movement as well, like is kind of dovetailing with like the big kind of terrible boom boom boom, like you know, like crosses, like Chino,
crosses,
like
I love crosses, love Chino, love what he did a few I can't think of.
And Greg from Dillinger. Well, let's just stay in the New York vibe. There's a lot of got a lot of good
New York vibe too, and I'll be actually, after this Australian tour is done, I'm flying back to Sweden to throw down some tracks for Valhalla, Swedish, kind of witch house dark, cool. Yeah, so it's not like
darkness is beautiful, and like the heavier the music, the nicer the people.
I mean, if you're in Australia at all, if I don't know when this is going to be up.
Very soon.
Please come check it out, especially Tasmania. We have some surprise. I'll be there.
You're a part of the crew.
I'll be there. And I'm more than happy to meet all the fans that love Orange and my band and Sugar. I love it. Love meeting everyone. You guys have been really awesome. Just come. So you're going to be like sensually. You're going to be sensually. You're going to be sensorily brutalized. Not
in a delicious way.
Not just your ears. Your eyes are going to be assaulted. You may have a seizure. Anyway, this is not really selling it, is it?
No, I think metal fans, I don't think you need to sell Meshuggah. I don't think you need to sell them. I think there's so much love here already.
This particular tour is extremely brutal. Extremely brutal, that I had to have a pre-show like warm up before we go. I made sure I saw it once because I hadn't adjusted yet to the lighting design, and it's like the first day you get it. It is a pummeling, so you will be pummeled. It's awesome.
Well, thank you very much, Jessica. Thank you for joining The Void for but a moment. Hope the rest of the tour is amazing, and yeah, this is The Void. This is Jessica Pimentel.